Can't.
Cause they going to
You in Atlanta
yeah.
that weekend.
Fuck, I may go there.
Yeah, that we play FAMU in Atlanta, so I wasn't even gonna say nothing. I was gonna stick to Ohio. It's the same
Just
weekend.
yeah, I was thinking about pulling them off over there, but then I was like, you know what? Never mind. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation.
Welcome everybody. God dang it, my camera is not on and I thought it was. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. A couple of things before we get into the whole thing, kit and caboodle. A lot has not been happening right here on the Passionist Network, and because it's been a lot going on in this past week. So I'm gonna just let you guys know we didn't have a show last week because of some things that was happening. And then on top of that, also for Luke's band report, I was actually supposed to get my grade for UAPB, which I did not do this week. That will be coming on next week as well as the following school. So next week you'll have 2 episodes of Luke's band report with 2 grades, one from UAPB and whatever the next school is. I haven't checked it yet. But also, Crystal's show, Dive Related Band Director, will be happening this Friday. Just wanted to make sure I give every single one of those things that are happening on the show for a couple of you guys who I know were waiting for that grade for UAPB. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to have to talk. But without further ado, if you've never been to the channel before, if you're new to the channel, man, I have to go ahead and say this before I even get to the introductions. Bro, we are at 901 subscribers. 901 subscribers. When I tell you, I am so excited by that. So let's just keep going. So if you're new here, hey, if you've never seen this show before, again, I'm the host, Jay Luke, owner and operator of the Passionist Network. And my faithful folks that are right here at Talk That Talk who still are rocking with me, I love them to death. They know I do. Portia, how you doing?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Good. I ain't seen you in 3 weeks.
I know.
Yeah. And then Quan, I just see a circle.
Yeah, my camera not working, but just call me Quano the Great, not Quano, bro. I'm adding names.
So in the next couple of months, it's gonna be Quano the Great, the mysterious, the mega.
Hey, if it got a ring to it, I'ma add it. Life too short.
Right, Beyonce said it best. If you like it, you might as well go ahead and put a ring on it. So if it got a ring to it, it'll work.
And guess what? I'll marry myself at this point.
All right, now you're going too far. Now you're going too far. Now you were on the right track, and then you digressed a little bit. We're gonna have to bring that back up, brother.
Man, shut up.
Mr. 32K said we not denouncing nothing tonight.
Facts. Facts. Because I'm sick of niggas.
I am denouncing some stuff.
Oh Lord.
Hello, Lord and friends. Well, look at you. Hey, I might need to go to Morgan. If they giving out, money like that, they be going to France. Man, what's good, Justin? I feel like, what's crazy? Justin has not really been seen a lot. He been kind of low key. So it's good to see my brother still rocking, man. Yeah, I'm denouncing student loans. I'm definitely in that. Can we just denounce car payments too? Can we throw that in there? Uh, Anything else we need to denounce? Insurance, insurance payments. I mean, I would actually like to.
Taxes. If
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
just keep my money,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
money I
Absolutely.
earn, I'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I identify as tax free. There we go. So I hope that works. As a matter of fact, now that I said that, this month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. A lot of people don't know that. So this fellas, men, if you're out there, married, not married, kids, no kids, man, just make sure you take care of your mental health. That's all I'm gonna say. I know that we got a lot that we put on ourselves, or that we have a lot of stuff that we carry, but make sure that you take care of your mental health. Take your breaks, take your PTO. They're there for a reason. So make sure that you take that. Take some time out. And another thing, blessings and blessings, man. I've been blessed to have a group of married couples that I hang around now. And so us as fellas, we get together every now and then. Get your squad, your fellas that you can rock with. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Appreciate the chat going crazy. Everybody talking about Lauren and her excursions with Morgan, and everything that they're doing to denounce. Keep the information going in the chat. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Yeah, I know you were at a day in Sparta. I saw you, and then you just kind of disappeared again, dust in the wind.
Just Simon, I was on a boat.
Yeah.
It was my birthday, and I was in the day of a day in Sparta. I was in Miami to get on a boat the next day, so that's why you didn't see me.
Yeah, if you
We're
watch
going
her,
to Miami.
right, if you watch her social media stream, all you saw was toes, and sand and water. So that's how I knew I mean, I knew she wasn't gonna be there anyway, but I
Yeah.
knew why now. Right when I saw them clips, I was like, oh yeah, she chilling, It's tight. You ain't getting nothing from her.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah. But let's go ahead and jump into it, man. We actually got multiple topics tonight. The first topic I actually want to start with is something that Quan brought to me. Um, and I don't know if he's ready to go ahead and give this information out, or have this conversation, but we're going to have it anyway.
Give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes, and I'll be there. So go on, do your thing for 2 minutes.
God dang it. So now I got to be a G for 2 minutes. All right. So
Give me one. Give me
no,
one.
no, no. Well, if you needed the two, I got you with the two. If you need the two. All right, so I guess it's gonna be however I rock it. But so the conversation actually started when I just happened to, I think he called me or I called him, the normal thing that we typically do, and he actually came to me and he said, you know what, I think I'm changing my mind. So let me go ahead and preface this by saying, whether you all know this or not, the Houston Mass Band is up and running. So and honestly, I'm actually happy to see that, because that was something that was, you know, going on when I was younger and in high school. And so we had been having conversations about it and conversing about it, because conversations is not a word. But we had been conversing about it, and you know, he was telling me about the people who were going to be involved, so on and so forth, and the ins and outs and certain things that were happening during that time. Well, he has been in the room with some well-known folks, people from his hood, not specifically his hood, but his home, some of which that you all may know. Someone by the name of Nathan Hamer, and also someone by the name of Brian Simmons. And there are some other folks that are involved with the Houston All-Star Band. And so, nevertheless, now that he is in the space of working with them, he has said, and he told me, that the perception that he had, or that we once had, about mass bands is slightly changed. And so We're going to start today with the conversation of where his mindset is, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into that. So hopefully that was 2 minutes of explanation, and he's ready to go. Because I told you, I
I'm ready
rolled
to.
it out.
I'm ready.
I
I'm ready
told
to
you I could
go.
do it, man. I was
I'm ready to
blessed with
go.
the ability to be able to do this.
You ain't
That
got to
was
do it
two.
no more.
I'm just saying that was 2 years of my radio time that I
Yeah,
learned how to be able to do
but
that. All right, go for it.
okay. All right. So first of all, let me say this. Today was the last day of HISD, the district that I teach in. It's been a long summer. You dig? It's been a long, long summer. However, first of all, God is good. Yeah, 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 yeah. You playing?
I ain't
All
playing.
right, we
Trust me.
good. All right, all right. So we good. So let me say this though. To everybody and our subscribers and whatnot, I know we've spoken about mass band prior to. Let me say this: we never hated mass band, but I feel like from the aspect of professional Black African American music educators, that there should be a standard that's being set specifically for high school students, and that's all myself and Luke, Portia, that we've all lamented time and time again. I was presented an opportunity uh, by two of my mentors about the revival of Greater Houston All Star Band. Um, People that really know me, I'm very low key and I'm very humble. So I didn't know that I was considered a mover and shaker as in regards of high school bands in the city of Houston. So they sought after me. They saw the growth. They see the pedagogy. They see the work that we're doing. Um, and I was like, well, I'm gonna give it a try. And I sat down with, as Luke stated, Mr. Hamer, Southern University's former director of bands, as well as the current director of bands, Mr. Brian Simmons, uh, and then the powers that be over the Greater Houston All Star Band. And I decided I'm gonna give it a try. There has not been a day that I have not seen the kids grow. My kids are enthused to play with other high school kids. It is a very not only uh, musically sound atmosphere, but it's family oriented. Uh, Kids are growing musically every day. Pedagogy is being taught, sound pedagogy is being taught, breathing exercises, articulation exercises. We're creating and writing music that kids can take all over the city back to their schools. I mean, it's all the things that we complain about, everything was removed. Again, I can't speak about other programs, but I'm very proud to be a part of, this director staff. Everybody's welcoming. Ain't no egos. Like we literally doing it, and I'm glad that I'm, blessed to be a part of it. Where Luke went, you know. Well, let me keep talking about things then. It ain't got nothing to do with Southern people.
So you knew Justin was coming today. You know what I'm saying?
It
Like
ain't-
you didn't go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, here we go.
yeah, yeah. It ain't. It ain't.
But
It ain't.
I'm glad that you're having this experience, bro. I love that for you. But I think what you're describing addresses all of the concerns that we had.
Right, right.
It's high school
Every
students.
everybody on staff, honestly, that has been working is a certified teacher. So it's something to lose, you dig? Like ain't nobody playing with their livelihood. Um and let me be clear, like doing this also for me, it also affirmed me as a band director. A few episodes back, I remember Rick, first of all, congratulations to Rick. I don't know if you already stated, but he graduated with his doctorate. So big shout out to Rick and wish him well on his tour. People expecting him to do a lot of things as it went viral. Uh, my thing is, he said, man, there's no bad bands, there's only bad band directors. And like me and Portia were kind of discussing it prior to. I think a band director can only go as far as his resources, his administrative support, and the knowledge that he has. Now, when me and Portia was talking, we're not talking about the band directors that's been there 15, 20 years and then a product doesn't look like it. But I mean the band directors that is, really hard working and, trying to build their program. Doing summer band has affirmed me that in the most humble way as possible I can say this, I'm a good ass band director, bro. Like sometimes you need that affirmation that you know what you're doing and it's not just a stagnant, because when you see the same kids, like they be knowing you and sometimes they don't listen to you, but they hear the same thing from their uncle or auntie and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, that's new. It's like, but you've been preaching the same thing over and over. So for me, this particular program, again, I can't say about other programs. Man, this program is doing wonders for me. I'm passing out. I plan on passing out one of my first arrangements like to this program. So we're gonna be hearing that. It's like I say, Brian Simmons has showed me how to do drill by hand outside of Pieware. Nathan Hamer, I've had countless amount of conversations with him about arranging and different things. And I mean, even though I'm volunteering my time, I'm growing as a professional. And that's what it's all about.
I
So,
love that.
Portia, were you gonna keep going, or are you just
No,
finished? Okay.
I love that.
So the first thing I want to say is, and I have no problems at all with saying this, directly on the show in front of people. And this is the exact same thing that I said to him, when we had this conversation privately. You've always been a good director. You've always been somebody who was hungry to be able to gain more knowledge in whatever situation you in. When I really had to, for a lot of people who don't know this, me and Quan's real first interaction is when we were both teaching in the same charter school, and I could see the hunger in him then. And so from there, I've just watched him progress over and over again. And so the same thing that I told him is the same thing I'm gonna tell him now in front of everybody who's watching. You've always been good, but it's difficult to be able to see how strong you really are when your resources, very similar to what he just said, when your resources are poor at best. It's a harsh reality, but it is a reality, and I kind of liken it to, I can look at what I was when I was teaching, drum corps, the development of my kids and the students, when I was teaching drum corps and how they were able to grow, and I watched them grow. But then I can look at the kids that I was teaching in high school, and because we didn't have the level of resources that I would have in a drum corps, or the level of support that I would have in a drum, so all of these different things, and you're seeing these same kids every day, and very similar to what Quan said, they're used to you at this point. It becomes harder and harder to be able to see the same results on both ends. But like I said, man, you've always been a good director, and I'm very, very ecstatic at the fact that you're able to showcase to the world and to different people and to different students the greatness that I see in you. So I'm excited from that aspect. The other thing is, though, let me be very clear, because Justin said it earlier. We never hated mass band. All right. As a matter of fact, let me go further into saying this. The three people here never hated mass band. We had questions. We didn't understand some things, but let's be very honest. If there was ever a moment where we hated it, myself and even Quan, and he went home. I took a trip. I would not have went to Louisiana on my dime, on my own money, to go see what it is in person if I hated it. Because if I hate something, I'm not going to be involved in it at all. Period. So let's be very clear. But I did want to be able to understand it. And what I appreciate, and it's very reminiscent of what Portia said, the things in which we had questions about and the things that we conversed about were the things that
What's up?
Quan
What's
is
up?
now involving himself in. And so that's the way I look at it. We came to the trap. so I wouldn't say the week. Okay, yeah, we came to the trap. I wasn't gonna. Yeah, we came to the trap.
We went to the
Um,
trap.
so so just for clarity, Quan, what you all are doing is high school, middle school only.
High school only, y'all. High
Okay.
school only. I just want to show the love real quick. I ain't gonna play no sounds, but it's high school love. Tracy, wave, just wave. There you go. One of the coldest dance teachers, and he talk that talk. Yeah. Yeah. See, look,
We
look, look.
we
Is
can't
this
see
is that
her.
so? Is that's my sister
That's
Tracy?
that's Tracy. Yeah, that's Tracy.
We can't see her.
She she
Yeah.
she said, "Behold, little state." I don't know what that means. I don't know
Oh
what that means.
wow.
Tracy, let's not start that. See, see, that's what happens. That's what happens when you
Hold
talking mess that you don't even need to even do, because that internet
on. I can't
signal
flip
went
the
out so
camera.
quick.
Oh God, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, you
Don't have
are.
the Spartans come after me.
You
I
are.
can't flip the camera.
Yeah, you hit yourself with the Smiths because it's
Right.
completely dark on your screen.
Oh man. It's hold on. Let me do this. All right, there go. Nah, but man, I'm just like I'm excited. Oh, I'm gonna go over here, but I'm excited. Let me tell y'all something. Band not dead, bro. Real talk.
What?
Band really not dead.
But here's the question. Now. At what point did anybody think the band itself was dead?
I did.
Really?
I did.
Hmm.
I did because I felt good teaching was gone. I felt that real talk. I'm from Louisiana. I'm from the city. I'm from that area. I felt like that was the only place that was still holding on to a culture that's still fighting to have the resources that supports like it's supposed to. You feel what I'm saying? Think about the stories and whatnot and things that we say on this show. You know, think about how we fight for the resources just to perform and how we shuck and jive and do different things like that just to make ends meet. Like these kids, man, these kids are here because they love music. What's that, Doc? Like they love music, and the reality of it is, like we need more programs like this. Like this, though. Again, I'm not gonna ever agree. I'm never gonna agree with a 40-year-old next to a 16-year-old. I don't. That's where I have to draw the line as an educator. But when you have all high schoolers from different ethnicities, background, we have Hispanic population, we have African American, we have all sorts, and they coming together for one purpose to learn music. That's what it's about. Nobody got egos. These kids are exchanging numbers, not numbers, Instagram names, and becoming friends. Northside cool with Southside, East Houston cool with Edie. We got kids all the way from Crosby. And for those that don't know, that's fall and the city of Houston. So that's what it's about, man. Drum instructors coming together. Shout out to my drum instructor, Jay Robert, who's over it. Like people are volunteering every time. I thought it was dead and we're fighting for it, but the fight, it's a good fight, bro.
So, and you're kind of bringing up some things that I'm going to bring. I plan on bringing up further on down the line. But I got a couple of questions. First off, Tracy's over the dancers.
Oh, well, that's her dance group. So
Oh,
technically
D2D.
they didn't have dancers this year, but that's D2D though.
Okay. Okay.
And that's another thing. Like they haven't had an opportunity to march with the band, but they are now. It's like it's a it's just the year. I feel like Houston coming back, bro.
Um. So So here's a couple of things. Here's a couple of things. So the first thing I'm going to say is, and for those of you all who don't know, I do want to go ahead and make this announcement, and it's along the same veins and the same lines of what Quan is talking about as far as education, blah blah blah, bands. If you do not know, the Texas DCI show will be at Prairie View A&M University. That to me is super dope, and it is, to me, I think, historic, because you're going to actually hold a DCI performance at an HBCU stadium, and they have the stadium to be able to support it, which I think is great too. And so the Houston show will be at Prairie View A&M University, and I think that is super dope. But let me get back to your comment. I don't know if I would say that I felt like band itself was dead, but I am on the thought process of the good teaching aspect. Because I don't think the good teachers are gone. I just think the good teachers are suppressed. And so, and in a lot of cases, I think the good teachers are also being covered up by other things. Because I don't think that good teachers don't exist. I just think that they're pushed down so far in a space or in an area or in their little corners that they don't get the opportunity to be able to show how great they are, or how much they can, affect or infect, the band culture or the student culture. I don't know if you heard me on that, Quan. He didn't hear nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm talking to myself.
You're not. The band is about appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
This man got the bugs.
You're not talking. The band is passing.
No, I'm not. Oh, okay. He's got you. He's hitting the mute daddy. I had absolutely no idea. You could have at least put it in a text or something. Hey, I'm gonna hit the mute daddy, so that way But all right, so he's hitting the mute daddy. So, but any thoughts on that, Portia, while he's on mute?
Why the good teachers are being suppressed or not given?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's some of what we talked about. Like, it's people are making decisions and putting people in positions based on nepotism and who they know and where they've been or how many followers and different reasons other than their actual ability to teach. I think some of it is sometimes good teachers pour so much out, they don't have nothing extra to give, too.
I agree. So I you went too early in it, but I might as
Oh,
well
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
No. We gon' cause I'm gonna go with the flow of the conversation. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I've seen this happen way too many times, and it has happened recently. Good friend of mine was removed from a position just out of nowhere. And this happened, I want to say, almost 10 years ago. And we're watching it happen right before our eyes. So a lot of you all do not know that more recently, within the past, I want to say maybe 3 weeks, we've had a director, removed from a position. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I don't have no reason not to say it. Good friend of ours, Legion member Facia, who was the director of bands at Virginia Union University. They called her, or she took that job. I want to say it's been a number of years, maybe about over 10 years ago now.
11
Yeah.
or so.
So she took that job and revived that program from a program that was nothing, hadn't been a program in God knows how long. Made a band program, established KK Psi, established Tau Beta Sigma, and literally out of nowhere, they they put out some BS statement like she decided to move on. No, they let her go. Now, the problem that I have with that is, why did you let her go? What is your rationale for letting her go? She built a band program. She built a rapport with students. She kept numbers in the band program. Were you providing enough? Were you providing enough finances for her to continue to go out and recruit? Because my biggest problem is, and this is going to what you were kind of talking about, Portia, are you more concerned with the clicks and the likes? Because who are you going to bring in there now? Are you going to bring somebody who's more concerned with cranking up? And then the question on top of that is, if that's what your main concern is going to be, then my next question is, are you all of a sudden going to then finance that person to be able to recruit? But this is kind of the conversation that I'm talking about, where we have good teachers, but if the clicks and the likes are the most important thing right now, then what are we talking about here? Are we talking about actually building music educators, band programs, so on and so forth? Or are we talking about just getting a bunch of clicks and the likes? That's my question.
To say, I mean, this is the age that we're moving towards, and they're making decisions based on different things and different criteria now than they've ever done in the past. And so I think it's going to continue to happen.
But here's the thing with me. You will do that and you'll bring somebody in who, in my personal opinion, you will give them less money, probably. But they going
Probably.
but they gonna crank up for you. They gonna give you your clicks, your likes, and your views. My question is, how long is that gonna be sustainable? And I'm not just talking about at that university. I'm talking about across the board. Because let's be fair, I'm not talking about the bigger schools. We're not talking about the Jacksons. We're not talking about the Southerns. We're not talking about the FAMs. We're not talking about these. But I'm talking about these smaller schools who have good teachers in them or have good educators in them, and those educators are slowly getting moved out because those bands are not getting the clicks and the likes and the views. You'll hire somebody younger, which I'm not opposed to hiring younger people. Let's be fair. I'm not opposed to that. I think youth is I think band directing specifically is a young man's game. I'm gonna be very, very clear on that. But my question is vision. Are these young people coming in specifically just to be able to crank it up, and are you hiring them just to be able to crank it up? Then if you're hiring a younger person, then somebody said this to me, I want to say it was Rick, this is why the doctorate is so important. Because if you have the doctorate degree in hand and it's a tenure track position,
You're protected.
you're protected, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then are you opening these positions to be tenure track? Or are you just hiring undergraduate, master's degrees and hiring them at will employees? Because when I'm ready to let you go because you're not getting the clicks and the views that I like, I can let you go and hire somebody else for a cheaper price that's going to crank up for me. But because honestly, let's be real, you probably don't care about the education of the actual student. So then it becomes, how is this sustainable? How is this sustainable?
It's not, but the problem is we're doing this to ourselves because there are people that are going to take these jobs for peanuts. We talk about that all the time. I didn't know people was making this little bit of money until y'all enlightened me on this show. But people are going to continue to do it because I want a college. I want to say I'm the head person in charge. Like, yeah, people are going to continue to do it. And as long as there is somebody who is willing to take less money, they're going to continue to do that. As long as there are people who are willing to take positions that aren't tenured, that aren't going to lead to a guaranteed future, um, they're going to continue to do it this way.
And
It's
and
kind of what we allow.
but and I want to kind of address that 757-804 is a hotbed for talent. Here's the thing that y'all got to understand about the area itself. Crank up culture is not a culture in that area. It's just not. It really is not. And that's not to say that the kids there, the students there don't like band. That's not what we're saying. What I'm saying is that mindset of band is not the thing that runs that area. So to try to convert that area and kids and students and so on and so forth to want to try to do that. So basically what we're saying is we want everybody to look and sound alike.
I mean, but probably the people who are making these decisions don't know what they're looking for anyway. They're probably not musicians or know anything about marching band or marching band culture.
But see, and to me that goes into I can understand the sentiment of what Quan was talking about when he says he felt like band is dead. Because when you see that as the mass as the landscape, and you see things like that happening as the landscape, and then and I'm gonna say it straight up, Justin hit it straight on the head, specifically in the city of Houston, because Houston is so spread out, and band culture in Houston has changed. It is not what I came up under at all. And I think that when we did the old school episode, when we talked about our past and so on and so forth, y'all saw my band. I walked into a band of 280 kids. That's what I walked into. Worthing at one time was in the hundreds. Madison at one time was in the hundreds. You know, and I'm naming a bunch of programs that y'all may not even know about, which is cool. But when you look at those same programs now, some of the band programs that I knew when I was a kid don't even exist no more. Or they numbers are so low, and I'm talking about 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe less. And then surrounding that is the landscape of what we're talking about. Where you have these programs where the crank up culture is all that matters to these admin who are hiring these directors to come into these smaller programs. Again, I'm not talking about the bigger programs. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just put it straight up. Jackson's gonna be sustainable. Jackson's gonna be Jackson. They're gonna be. I don't see Jackson getting to a Clark Atlanta size ever. I don't see that happening unless they just completely do away with the whole music program. I don't see that happening with Southern. I don't see that happening with FAM. Now, not talking about around the Robert Champion time. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about now. I don't see that happening with it. There are certain programs I'm not talking about. But there are certain programs that I am really, really adamant on saying, hey, what are we doing from an admin perspective when you just throwing people out and hiring people in for the crank up culture because you want the clicks, the likes, and the views? Are you going to put the money behind that? Because it ain't just hiring a director. You got to financially support that program. And then it becomes disingenuous when you turn around and you wouldn't financially support it with the previous director, but you're going to support it with the new director.
But that's their choice. And people pick and choose when they want to support something, throw money at something, and whatever the case may be. But I don't even know if they want it for the crank up culture. I just think that people who don't understand are making decisions on things that they're not familiar with.
I don't know. It just kind of boils my blood, and it does. It does because again, there are great educators out there, great educators, and I'm not saying that the kids or the guys that are being hired are not good educators. I'm not saying that. Not saying that. What I am saying is, what is the vision of what you all are trying to put out there when you're hiring these people? You're not giving them tenure track positions. So basically, what you're saying is, I don't want them to be sustainable in this position anyway. You're not giving clear, concise vision on what you want to happen with this program. Then on top of that, are you financially supporting them?
But see, Virginia, other than if you're tenure, is an at will state. So, you can be hired one day, fired the next. It's just how it works here.
Good old VA.
Yep. Commonwealth.
That's your city, your state.
It is.
That's my wife. That's why my wife hightailed on out of there. She was like, "Yo, I'm you from Houston? Yeah. All right, I'm out. Yeah. Okay. So along the lines, I saw this, and I wanted to pull this up because I just thought this was interesting, and then we're going to kind of talk about it very quickly. And this talks about Texas bans, but it's gonna go a little deeper into this. So first of all, me being from Texas, I'm always gonna look at Texas bans. I mean, I look at a lot of bands, but I'm definitely gonna look at Texas bands. But this popped up on my screen, and if you guys have not seen this before, this is really interesting to see. So I'm gonna share this really quickly, and we're gonna talk about this. No. You. There we go. All right. So we're going to play this real quick. All right. I can't play that all day because, copyright is a real thing. That was very interesting to me. What do you think about that portion?
What? Was that high school?
No.
What level of school is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Styles Middle School back in 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What's your thoughts?
I wouldn't have guessed that that was a middle school.
Fair.
Um, wow. Do they sound like that now?
I don't know. I haven't looked them up. I mean, I let me look them up. While you're trying to make that decision, let me look them up right quick.
That was good. I probably better than. I'm not gonna say that.
No, say it. We hey, unfiltered. Ain't nothing filtered around here.
That right there is better than some
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
colleges that I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if we're talking jazz concert spring semester ensembles. Yeah.
Uh, so this is them. What does it say? A month ago. So let's see if the hype is the same.
Okay.
All right. Let me pull it up. And we're going somewhere with this, or I'm going somewhere with this.
Middle school is crazy.
So
Yo. But they're you can tell they're investing in them. They're pouring into them. They have the resources, they have the educators there to guide, lead, teach that.
so so a couple of things. So first of all, the first thing, because that was the first time I heard them play that piece before ever. First thing that pointed out to me is you have an oboe player from a middle school level that sounds that professional. So that was the first thing that stuck out to me. So I'm with you on that, Chuck. But my thought was when they first ran across my screen, how do you compete with that? I'm a director, and this is kind of what Quan was talking about when it comes to the struggle of trying to really understand how good you are as a director. Because then the question becomes, is she a good director, or do they just have really good resources? That becomes a major question, right?
That's a fair question. Because would she be able to accomplish the same things with less?
But and the other question is, yet again, how do you compete with that? I'm a band director who has, 40, 50 kids in my program. And I have little to no resources. We're in the inner city, so on and so forth. And I'm just trying to build these kids up the best way that I can. We don't have the resources for private lessons. The kids can't take it. Little Jesus has to work with his dad at the mechanic place or electricity, whatever. So he can't always practice when he needs to. And there's multiple kids like that. And then I got to compete with this. So when these kids get to high school and they go do region, and my kids are in the same room with them, how do you compete with that? And then you're left stuck as a director thinking to yourself, well, dang, am I a good director? Did my school give me the tutelage and the information to be able to be strong enough to teach these kids, or is it the lack of resources? And Mr. Outlaw, you do your thing. Yeah, it's easy. That's an easy thing to say, right? But let's be fair. We have, as musicians, band directors, so on and so forth, we have been taught perfection. Like, that's the name of what we do. When we perform on the field, the idea is that we make no mistakes. The best product that we put out there, right? So it's almost difficult to go into a classroom and to teach kids and know the outcome that you want, and you don't receive it. And then if you in the state of Texas, I got to see that band. So then that middle school band, and I'm a high school teacher now. Here's the crazy thing. If I'm a high school teacher and I see that middle school band, then you really like, well, maybe I'm not that good, you know. So I think yes, you do. You have to. I think you have to put something in your brain that says, if Lil Tyrone comes in and can't play a note, if he makes it out by the end of the year and he can play 3 or 4 scales, then that's success, right? And it's very easy to be able to say that to yourself. But the hardest part about that is, you know, you want better. As an educator, you know you want better. You want to be able to play Shepherd's Hay to that extent with your high school kids. That's the problem. Chuck, I agree to an extent. In states like Texas, everyone has to go to UIL. So in the end, absolutely, that's what becomes hard. And I think I can't remember who I was having this conversation with. I think it was Rick. When you have a situation like that, the likelihood of you being more successful in a state that does not require band as strongly as Texas is a lot higher. We were talking about if we went into if I'm a band director in an inner city school trying to make the best program possible with little to no resources, but then I moved to Poonduck, Wyoming, where they just want a good band and the kids there are hungry and all they want to put the resources in. Well, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be a lot more successful there because the competition isn't as strong. But when I have that to compete against, I was reading interventions at the worst performing school in the division. I had to build the program from scratch. From worst to blank. I guess you got to wait for the other one. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Portia?
Scoring on the level with gifted and magnet schools. I think that's awesome, Mr. Outlaw, but and correct me if I'm wrong, in Texas, you all have to go to UIL?
Written in the contract. Now, to be fair, and I don't know how it is now. I knew that some principals were like, and that's more the inner city schools. If you go, you know, but if you don't, But that's back when, I was still heavy in now. It may be a requirement now in some districts, but it is written in mostly your contracts. You got to go.
I don't know. I mean, you can only do, and I think this is in any profession, what you can, but I think even with like the standards of learning testing or whatever they are here in Virginia, I think when you put those kind of pressures on teachers, they started to do things to meet that standard instead of always making the best decisions for the student or making sure that the students are grasping concepts. And so I don't know. I think it's crazy to have to come from a school that is barely, it's just you. um and to your point, some of the students can't practice, they have other responsibilities. And to me, what does that do to not only the educators, but what does it do to the students?
And I'm gonna say this: that trumpet player that was playing on Shepherd's Hay sounded better in middle school than I did my first year in college. I'm just gonna be real, and that's not to say that I sounded terrible, but I mean, let's be real. That was damn good. The question I'd ask is: my students better because I'm their teacher and or director? But I think
But
again,
is that what's going to come out on those results from UIL?
thank
Like
you.
that's like now you're doing things, you're under this pressure, the students are under this pressure competing against people who are given every chance to succeed. And so to me, what's the benefit? Do they feel like it's forcing people to be better educators, or is it forcing people to teach to appease? Like, which one is it? Like, I'm teaching to meet this standard, but is that what's best for the student?
So and what you're saying is kind of one of the things that I started getting real frustrated with as a band director. You know, yeah, I guess I'm gonna use this terminology. Hey, y'all, don't fire me up for saying this, but as a band director, teaching in the trenches.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, um, because I didn't feel like it was an apples to apples kind of situation.
Right.
Um, you know, I walk into a room to be judged for UIL, and I'm coming right after a 4A, 5A school with multiple resources, and I'm a 3A school with 20, 30 kids, and now we're judged on the same level and the same baseline.
So that's what Rod was asking. Isn't there a baseline level of mandatory resources available? And
No,
no.
no. Because some districts have private lesson teachers on staff that are paid for through the district. Some don't. Some it's a random kid or a random kid who graduated from the school who just wants to come and give back, and they be like, "Hey, I'll do private lessons," and then if you can't afford them, then you find like it's multiple different things in different places. The problem that ends up coming up is when it comes to your job, specifically in the state of Texas, if you want to move to another job, whether it's equal to what you're doing or better, everything is going to depend upon your UIL scores. They I I can go right now and check anybody's UIL scores in the past. I think it's 10 years. I can go right on the website right now. So when you are looking for a position, that fine arts director is going to go to your UIL scores and see, are you a good fit for this program? will you continue to provide superior ratings for this program, or will you, if that program has been on a consistent excellent for 3-4 years, will you take that program to the next level based on your new UIL scores? So no, there are no baseline level of mandatory resources, because then the argument becomes, well, if you're a good teacher, then those kids will be successful. And again, then it falls back to the question of, and again, this is why I agree with Quan. You sometimes feel like you're not doing well, because that's my competition. You know, in the city of Houston itself, like people get it really confused. People think that because Houston ISD is one of the largest districts in the country, that there are no other surrounding districts in Houston ISD. Let's be fair. You have Houston ISD, which is very huge. Surrounding that, you have Cypress, Katy, Conroe, the Woodlands. So like you have all these different areas. In all of those areas, their band programs are superior. Like literally superior. Cypress, the district, the schools in Cypress, I don't hear too much about them getting less than ones. Schools in Katy, same thing. So if I'm an HISD school on the cusp of one of those districts, and we're in the same region, and we all go to UIL, that's what I have to compete with. How do you feel like you're a good director then? That's the question. Yes, and I absolutely agree. Most of us have to make sugar out of emojis. I knew what you meant. I just didn't want to say the cuss word. Sugar out of poop. Dookie. The word dookie just sounds so much more harsh than poop, by the way. I know that's random. Me and James Johnson used to talk about that all the time. But yeah. So that's the problem. And again, my question is always going to be, how do you compete with that? And does that make that director a good director, or just good resources?
I don't know how you find that out.
So as an educator, what's the resolve? Do you continue on doing the best you can? Do you move? Do you quit? I'm overwhelmed. Listen, I'm overwhelmed knowing that I lived through this process, and even knowing people who still live through this process. I'm gonna see. Do you have any thoughts on this, Portia, before I put my 2 cents in?
Because I can't, I would,
So
education not for me.
fair. Um, so it's I think it's a twofold kind of response to that, right? Like, obviously, you want to continue to do your best, right? I think that's in anything that you do. You want to continue to be the best and do the best that you can with what you have. And Quan used to say this all the time, and I still understand this and I get it. Being a teacher, being an educator is definitely a calling. It's something that you truly, truly invest in. You know that that's where you're supposed to be. And I think that people who really know that that's their calling, they're going to continue to do the best that they can. Don't get me wrong. I still feel like it's a calling on me to educate. I don't know if it's to be directly inside the classroom, but just because I educate don't mean I got to be in somebody's classroom in that particular manner. And I think when you ask the question, do you move? I think you have to ask yourself what that looks like. Are you single? Are you married? Do you have kids? Are you moving in the same state? Because when you start talking about the state of Texas, again, moving from one school to another ain't that easy. Because if you're in an inner city urban school and, your UIL scores aren't that good, then the next school you might end up at is very similar to the school you leaving. Do you change states? That's a very possible thing. But again, what does that look like? Financially, family, all of these things. So I think it's a layered answer to that. I'm always an advocate of seeing what you can build, provided that you have the resources. I think that's one of the things that sticks out to me the most is resources. If you have the resources and you're in a place where you have either an admin or community support or something that says, hey, we like what you're doing, I'm going to support you in this particular way, then yeah, I'd say stick it out. Give it about 5 years. See what you can do. But if that's not the case, nah. Yeah, Chuck, outcome versus the income. Ain't no moving assistance. You ain't getting no moving package with no middle school, high school. Yeah, so and states have different standards, and I think that's the other thing too. That's the other thing. States have different standards and expectations. I've said this all the time, and this is not jonesing on anybody. Dang, did I say jonesing? I don't even know what that means. What does jonesing mean? Why did I say that? Don't laugh at me. Why did I say that? What does jonesing mean?
I guess like joking on.
Okay, I'll go with that. This ain't, I just say what I wanted to say. This ain't talking bad about nobody or no state. But I don't know what Alabama's and Mississippi and Louisiana's expectation is when it comes to, going to concert and festival and stuff like that. From the outside looking in, it doesn't look like they do have one. And I'm not saying that to say that they don't, but again, from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like they have one. And that's what I was going to get to next, Chuck. The other thing with that is I have a Texas certification. That ain't necessarily going to rock in Georgia. So then that's a whole nother conversation. Because it ain't like moving from university to a university position. It's like, all right, does your certification hold up in this state? Because if you don't, then you got to go and hit that test daddy again. And I can tell you right now, I know how good I am. I'm not about to take another test though. Here's the reason why. The last time I took a test was when I got my master's degree. I ain't taking no more tests. I ain't doing no more studying unless I choose to. So that's another thing. So I'm just saying. So Chuck, everything you saying is absolutely right. Some states make a way. So, and again, this is all tying back to the conversation that, we started from the beginning, which was, Quan having the conversation about, him changing his mind as far as the thought process of mass ban. I'm going through that now, Virginia to Texas. Oh yeah, good luck. Good luck. But at the end of the day, apparently my dryer, my washing machine has stopped.
Listen, I thought that was mine. I was like, I got something in the wash.
Listen,
Because my laundry room is right outside my office. I was like, I don't remember putting that.
I tell my wife all the time when I get on the show, I'm gonna put my wife on Front Street for a second. She just happens to always want to wash right when I start the show, and I say, babe, when you leave out, just close the door, because when you close the door, I don't hear that. Now It's loud. Everybody think they washing machine to finish.
Yo,
Nobody has clothes in the wash but me. That's
yo,
over
I
here
was
in my crib.
listening like, yo, did you child? Not fancy appliances. I'm telling you, when I bought
No.
my house and I bought that and that thing started making everything sing. The dryer sing, the wash, everything
The
sing.
washer, the dryer, the dishwasher,
Everything sing.
my
It's
refrigerator get mad at me if I leave the door open for too long.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Who fancy?
It's
Ain't nobody fancy. That's just it.
oh,
It's just what it is now.
I'm telling you.
You can't buy one of them old school daddies with the turn that go when you turn the joint. Now you can press the button now. So
Do you see what Chuck, yo, stop it.
you still got that? Oh my bad. Mine was well, no, I was gonna say mine was a package deal, but it was no, it was my first joint, my first washer and dryer was a package deal, but we had to get a new washer. So, but yeah, we got the push button daddies. Mine sings to us. So, and
Yeah.
then here's the cool thing. I know we off topic, but here's the cool thing. I got an app for it, so I can put
Me
that joint on
too.
my
You can
phone.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So on
Yeah,
my
I can put
refrigerator,
timers in the app and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
On my refrigerator, I can see how cold it is. If I need to replace my filter, I can
Mm-hmm.
change the temperature on there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is not bougie.
Now,
Not
talk
that bougie
that
talk.
bougie talk is crazy.
Oh.
No, I don't have the
No, I
all
ain't
in
got
one. I
that.
have a washer and then I have a dryer.
Nah, brother Dawson. Now see, that's fancy.
No, that's
That's
real
fancy.
fancy.
Yeah, you done upgraded. We ain't.
Mm-mm.
I ain't got you on that now. See now, there's a limit. We done drew the line now. But yeah. So first things first. First things first. Just going back to what Quan is saying. No, I absolutely, first of all, agree with him. Just being able to, and again, I'm not there with him, but he's just sharing, and he has shared some of the stories with me of his experiences, and I really appreciate, number one, the tutelage that he's getting, but also being able to embody some of the things that we have discussed right here on this show in that particular setting. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because that's allowing him as an educator to grow, but also being able to put students and kids in a position to actually see great education happening, grow in music, collaboration not across the city, across from directors, all of that. Still using the wash.
Yo,
Don't
I'm
be
done
lying.
with him. I'm done with
Don't be
Chuck.
lying.
I'm done with Chuck.
So that's the first thing, and then the second thing is, you know, being strong in who you are as an educator, right? The one thing that I've learned in this process of being an educator, speaking to educators, talking to people, we ain't gonna know everything. And I think that we try to burn ourselves out by trying to learn everything. I think sometimes we need to focus, we need to be strong in things. Focus on the things that you're strong at, build that up, and then when you're ready to go to the next thing, go to the next thing. But you also want to build a community of people around you that can help to pick up the slack from where you are weak, and then be able to learn from them. You know, I was listening to something the other day that was talking about what truly being equally yoked means. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you like the same things, y'all listen to the same music, you eat the same food. No, that doesn't mean that. What that means is where you're weak, that other person is strong. And so what that means is that other person is able to help to build you up. And you're cohesively working together to be stronger. And so as a director, I think that that's what we miss sometimes is we think we're weaker and we think we're not doing well in certain areas, specifically if you're by yourself, because we have nothing to measure that off of. We have no one to help us to say, hey, I'm not good in this particular area, but I do need. I know I have this person in my back pocket. I know a little bit about it, but I know they're better at
But see, that's us. I don't want to tell you I need help.
it.
That's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, and it's an issue. Um,
And we should be able to grow and learn from each other. I think in general in life, but we don't want to do that all the time. I'll figure it out.
Chuck, I'm done with you, bro. Uh, the kids still love you. You're probably right. But no, I think that we do have sometimes we have an issue with that because ego is a real thing. But that's why I also say that I love what Quan is being able to do because he's able to walk in those spaces and he's able to meet with his Louisiana brothers because there is a connection there. Let's be very fair. There is a connection there. But he's able to get in the room with them and ask questions and have the conversations. And I think that is the I don't want to say that the basis of what we should do as band directors, music educators, so on and so forth. Collaboration. We're not always going to be right. We are
Nope.
strong in certain areas. Some band directors, let's be real. Let's just put it out. Let's just call a spade a spade. Some band directors are just not good band directors. They're just not good band directors. But they're really good motivators. They
Yeah.
can they can motivate you to jump off a bridge. And some really good band directors suck as motivators. But the thing about it is that is where you reach out. Hey man, what do you do in order to get your band to sound like that?
Right.
Hey, can you come in to my university and work with my kids? I don't know. Is that a thing? Like, I'm not gonna invite this university director into my band room because from a different university.
I don't see a hey. I don't see a lot of that happening, and it may be happening, and I don't know.
I don't know.
But
Oh, go ahead, Portia. I'm sorry.
I don't know that it happens a lot.
Well, we got a university director to be able to answer that question. So, Chuck, what you got, brother?
Yo, what's up? I didn't hear the question because I was trying to come in. What were y'all
Get your
saying?
get your headphones together.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can
Okay,
hear you.
cool. Yeah. Well, what were y'all saying?
No, what the question was? What is it? Why don't or do university directors invite other directors from other universities to come and work with your program? Why is that not a normal thing?
Is that me? Making that sound? That's me? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it sounds like you
Wow.
trying to let out an SBD, but it's
No.
not
It might have
SBD.
been. Okay, is it gone now? Okay, it might have been my Bluetooth trying to hook up. But yeah, that's a great question. I know I can say this as an
That's
that's me? No, okay.
No, it's not.
Uh, as a aspiring, collegiate director, or even a aspiring high school or middle school director, when I was in college, I used to go to a lot of band rooms and director, even schools that like rival schools or whatever, and go. And a lot of those directors were extremely inviting. They were very inviting, and so I think it was like what Portia was saying a few minutes ago. Like, we know it all. We don't want to ask questions, especially from the ops or whatever. Like the kids say, I got 210. Like, we don't want to do that. And I know the directors like that I've like have or encountered. They're an open book. Like, for an example, last week I got to go to Montana for the CBDNA athletic band conference. Now, this is not symphonic band. This is not wind ensemble. This is athletic band. This is what we love, right? And there's only a small circle of us that go. But that's a whole nother topic. But Um, like I was sitting next to the director from, of course, we probably know Greg Drain from Penn State. He's a Bethune Cookman alum, but also sitting next to the director from Carolina, from University of Illinois, which he's over the CBDNA, organization and meeting with the NCAA to fight for rights for a band. They were talking about national championship and how they got there and their bands didn't have seats. They talked about how their bands don't get to play. Like they want the same stuff that we want. And so, but I'll say this: those to get back on topic, those directors, they were very inviting. They were very inviting, and even some of them were like, "Oh my goodness!" They were like, "How many guys do you have working with your program?" And I named our different directors, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, I'm the only one. I'm trying to get some grad assistants and stuff like that." So, but what I did notice, and we see it with our HBCUs sometimes, but what I did notice, there's a lineage. One of the conferences or sessions I went to, it talked about your legacy and how are you passing that on, your band director tree, right? And when I was talking to some of these individuals, like for example, Devin, that just left OSU and now is at her alma mater, Florida State, and went to her undergrads from FAMU. Like, yeah, you think of it. If you have somebody that matriculates to the program, that is very knowledgeable, that is proven very well in that, just like any business, you're going to look for those individuals. But I think we get caught up in the pride, of it versus like asking questions and really wanting to get better, I had a blast there. I never thought I'd be in Montana. But we ate some bison. That was pretty dope. And yeah, it looked like a tough piece of steak, but it was amazing.
He
You know,
ate some Howard.
right,
He
right.
did.
And another thing I didn't know is well too, they have like a Native American university out there, and they had one of the tribal leaders come out and speak, and just talk about it like heritage and knowing your heritage. And I was like, man, like I know my heritage, but it's on a whole nother level. And so I think that's what it is the pride, and we let that level of competitiveness like get in the way of us getting better. Like I love that at the HBCU consortium, seeing the auxiliaries like coaches together. Like Tracy that was on there, she brought her kids there. I think she's bringing her kids to our camp, which starts on Sunday. That's why I'm like hyped and excited because yeah. So, anyways, like seeing the auxiliary coaches together and then work together and then share ideas and then champion each other. Because Portia, you know how it is. I mean, band, we get competitive, but auxiliary, they start flipping the hair a little bit faster, like cutting their eyes. Like I did 16 years of high school of experience that I'm like, y'all don't even know these kids. Like, why I got beef already? And so like auxiliary, it's a whole nother ball game, but it's good to see them all together, seeing them perform, seeing them like champion each other, and then share ideas. I think T Brown at A&T, she got an award, and there was other auxiliary coaches there, kind of asking questions in terms of how they meld and do what they do, and things like that. But a lot of times as directors, we don't really want somebody else working it because they're scared that they may do it better than them. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna say that. And we hear in the good book we got to have less of us, and more of him. And I think it's like that in learning just in general. We got to take something. I always one of my favorite games. I remember I got it for Christmas when I was a kid was Mega Man 2. And I love Mega Man because Mega Man, in order to beat the guy, he had to get the necessary power for it. And then he would take it to go to the next level. You could not progress in the game if you didn't do it in a certain order. And that's what I try to do. I try to learn as much as I can from whoever I can and apply it to my situation. That was another thing that a lot of directors were saying. Apply it to your situation. Like there was a thing on there that said song suggestions. He's like, I can't give you that. Works what works best for your kids and your students, and also just in empowerment. I mean, this was a whole bunch that we learned, and I just wish to have more of us there at these conferences, not only kicking it, but you know what I'm saying, taking some away. Because we did a lot of kicking it and it was built in. They did a golf tournament, they did a disc golf thing, they did hiking, a bunch of stuff that you could do either before or in the evening. So it made it an enjoyable experience, out there.
Yeah, you said one of the things that I don't shy away from. Um, I want you to be better than me. Like let's be real.
That's it too,
If
right?
I invite you in, it's because you have something that I know you are better than me in. And I want to sit back and learn from you. Right? So again, if your flute section or your clarinet section sounds a pristine way, and I say, hey, I want you to come work with my flutes or my clarinets. I
Hmm.
don't give a goddamn what school you from.
Right.
Come work with them. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to just, okay, I'm taking notes. I want you to be better than me because that's the only way that I'm going to grow. Does that mean that you're better than me in every single thing that we? No, but
No.
there is something that you have that is better. Yes, come do a better job than me because I want to see what you can do. And then I want to learn from that and pick up those notes. So now, like you said, apply it when I get back in front of my kids.
Right. If it's truly about the kids, you should try to learn as much as you can. Like the more you know, the more your students know. And being an open book, we talked about, gatekeeping. That's been brought up a lot of times. And there's some folks in both sides of the coin that don't want to help other people. And when I encounter those individuals, I'm thinking one individual in particular, of course, I ain't gonna say their name, which is very high on the totem pole in both arenas. Um, I'm like, you know what? It's not meant for me to get that from you. I'm gonna go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it ain't in this conversation. It ain't about like brown nosing and kissing up or none of that. It's gaining that knowledge and the individuals that really care about having good bands. See, that's what culture is good programs that teaching these kids and giving them their experience. Like, I didn't know if I was going to talk about this right now. I am so happy of Morgan State right now, because I had to think. Jorm Reed is one of my mentors. I never went to FAM. I never went to North Carolina Central or any of that. But when he was at North Carolina Central and I was a young Aggie, when we didn't have games on the weekend, when we weren't traveling as much, I used to go there and he would bring me in and I would sit in front of the band and just listen to like the cleanliness and the things that he was doing with his ensemble. And I even sat in the wind ensemble one time. He said, "You want to sit in and play?" Like, I really appreciate that. And now he's got the band in Morgan in France. And some of my former students, I've never been overseas, some of my former students are with that, are with them. And I was like, man, like, oh, the places you go, like, through this band experience. Like, if it's really about the kids, we should try to learn as much as we can and do, this, bro. And I'm sure they have it in some iteration on your end, Portia. Worthwhile projects. Worthwhile projects. I was just talking with a guy today, and he came to talk about some media stuff. Um, and he was just saying how, like, just like he was like, every gig ain't a good gig, and every good money ain't good money. And I stand on that because my first few years, I kept trying to do everything underneath the sun, concert band, jazz band, everything. And I'm like, man, I am working my kids to death. They're not getting better. I'm tired. I'm never home. Like, I need to space things out. And I never forget talking to a director. He was like, how better can you get from one week to the next, like going to competitions every weekend? He was like, you really don't, and so space things out like every 2 weeks or whatever. And as soon as I started doing that, that's when them grand champions started coming. That's when them superiors on the concert stage started coming, like being very intentional and not wearing out my kids. I think a lot of times we get that hustle and that grind moment, and we don't realize like we're really like killing ourselves and not getting any better. And so yeah, man. I just wanted to get on here and say hello because I miss y'all and like I put in the chat earlier, like, man, this me and a lot of my colleagues, and again, this is my first year higher ed, first year in July, and we say there's more than meets the eye. I've learned so much in this year. Um, as a full time employee, I don't really get a summer. We are on 10-hour days, and I have not had a break. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful because we are about to host our first high school camp, and I remember what high school camp did for me, and I'm just on a high. Like, man, these kids are really about to come. Like, and we about to like have a high school camp. And so I'm excited for that. And there's a lot of learning that we can do for from from everybody if we take less of us and just listen. We got two ears and one mouth. Listen twice as hard.
Absolutely, my brother. Um, I will tell you this before I get to good brother Simon. You know, I'm going to continue to support everything that you're doing. Anyway,
Nancy, that boost.
sorry. I'm going to continue to support everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
yeah.
Me, me,
Yes.
me. Quano and the kids. That's funny.
Quano and
Y'all
the
not
kid.
so y'all
Quano
not gonna speak.
and the kids. We can't hear y'all.
Hey y'all.
Hi.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm gonna turn it backwards. This Janaya,
We can't
trumpet
see
player.
them.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
like
hold on.
super dark, bro.
We can't see.
It
Look
must be an
now.
iPhone.
We can't see.
Must be an iPhone.
I don't have none of these
Well, damn it,
troubles.
They
Yeah.
don't worry about it. Anyway,
they in the
the
trenches.
kids just got out of practice. They had fun. Uh, quick. One question. How was practice? All right, that's all I got to say then. Then
Yeah.
that's it. We about to go to McDonald's and man, let's keep learning, man.
Man, you better take them kids to Salada and get some
It's
healthy
hard to
food.
Whataburger.
This man said McDonald's.
They
Salada.
keep
Salada is
these.
closed. Salada is closed. It's not.
Smiths.
Salada is closed.
Yeah, well, yeah. McDonald's gonna be it then. All right. All right, brother. Y'all be safe, man.
All right, man.
But as I was saying, Chuck, I'm gonna continue to support everything that you're doing, brother. I'm so happy for you, so proud of you, elated at the work that you're doing. Uh, don't burn yourself out. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. But no, I hope that you all get great recruitment from this high school camp, because I definitely know and understand exactly what you're talking about. I never went to a summer camp, never did that. But as you know, when the Legion used to do spring camp, I
Yep.
just remember what it was like for those kids to come in and just get that feeling of being a part of it. And then, you would see 50% to 70% of those kids
They
in the
coming.
lineup, the next year. So,
They coming.
much success to you guys, man. And just keep doing the thing, man.
Man, I appreciate it. We got some big things coming. And we just pushing forward. We just pushing forward. So I'm definitely gonna take a whole week off as soon as this thing's done.
Yes, please do.
That
Please
take
do.
getting out of Dodge. All right, appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe.
All right, my brother.
Peace.
All right. We haven't seen this ghost in a long time. So we got to bring him in. I know he probably got some mess to talk. Oh, he might say something nice. We never know. What's going on, brother?
We
No,
can't
because you're still
hear you.
muted.
Y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
What's good with y'all?
Man, ain't nothing, brother. First of all, I know you didn't went and saw the world, and you didn't went to Asia, Africa, and anywhere in between, Antarctica, I think, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I got like 2 pages left in my passport. I'm trying to fill in before the end of the year. So yeah.
Hey, get it filled. Because I tell you right now, I got my passport in 2010. I got one stamp in there. That's all I got.
Wow.
Chuck.
Yeah, yeah. It's
God
probably
damn.
expired by now. I probably got to get a new one. But
Nah, but it's been working, man. I started a whole nother business, pretty much. It's called Big Easy Media. I'm doing sports, exactly how I do band, but we cover all the sports in the city of New Orleans. surrounding areas, and it's going crazy. I'm talking about like, yeah, it's going crazy. It's keeping me busy, and I'm helping raise my nephews and that. So I'm getting a little part of this parent life, and they both in the band. So they gotta be cold. Yeah. But anyway, all I wanted to say was I think I know I was just playing. Y'all wouldn't hate on Summer Bay. I just think that sometimes we confuse it. Like it's good to see Quan like a kid in a candy store. He got like a new fire under him. Like he happy. I bring the kids home. If you still listen to Quan, but like what they're doing in Houston right now, bands can do that all year round. And that's my thing. I'm glad some people over there got some structure in the Houston area. You know what I'm saying? And you're seeing the thrive of it. You know what I'm saying? But we confuse summer band, mass band with all the antics and the bad stereotypes that y'all was giving it or whatever that y'all see. I didn't like pretty much like the adults with the kids. It's two totally different things. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, is what we do in the summer is different than what Houston could have been doing with them kids. If that make sense, you know what I'm saying? Granted, it's happening in the summer, but that could be a year round thing that they do in Houston. It's different than what we do in the summer. And that's why I think that, like, when y'all was saying, like, what happens in Texas and the bad habits and stuff like that, yeah, y'all have actually coming to my Battle of the Bads next week. But I'm just saying it's two totally different things. And I'm glad that that's happening because y'all can see something structured that can lead over into the summer. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to say about that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but you're not saying anything wrong. I just think that this particular process and this particular situation, I think just kind of goes and boils down to leadership, right? Like you have to want you get the people that's in front have to want the same thing. And I think that the situation that Quan is in right now and just that particular structure within itself, I think they all have the same goal and the same vision in mind. And so that thing can happen the way that we have talked about specifically here on this show. And I also think that this show and the conversations we've had help to put a lot of certain ideas and conversations in place. Not saying that is the thing that started it, but kind of help to put fuel to the fire and allow, you know, either Quan or certain people to say, hey, we've had this conversation. This is what we want it to look like. This is how I want it to look. This is how it should look. And I think that now everybody has the same goal in mind. And I think that that is a thing that is now working out. And I think that's a great thing. You know, I don't think that every state should do it the same way. But I do think structure should be had in every state.
And I guess to my point, like I had to get a band director together maybe a few weeks ago. Like people know their roles in this whole band thing. That's why like when I be hearing band directors say band is dead and stuff like that, or like it's just the kids ain't the same no more. And then I know for sure I can walk in the room with any kids with a horn and get them excited. Yeah, I know I'm cheating using my brand, but I don't give two shits. I just feel like sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board. You know what I'm saying? And either meet the kids where they at, or either let somebody else get the seat that you've been holding. You know what I'm saying? Like this is I just because I know how Houston possibly could like how I done seen the old and like what the old Houston like used to look like in band scene. If this mass band situation they got going on like revitalizes Houston, I don't want to hear anything from nowhere else in the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like get those kids something to do in the summertime. I know those adults they have like jobs and families and they need a break. They teach 24/7, 365 around a year, but they taking their time out because they see the betterment of this that's going to help for the long run. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited. Mass band, yep, and I'm gonna say mass band, summer band. It is influencing these kids in a positive light because as much as you say, like this year when the All-Star band, I think one of the most exciting things I'm seeing in this room, we ain't needed no more. Like the adults, like real deal, holy spill. When y'all see these clips drop on the 15th, y'all gonna be like, God, like what? And it's mostly kids. It's like I'm watching whole sections of high school kids participate in the summer. Normally, it's like a few from each school. I'm watching whole sections like motivate each other. Are we gonna come out? We doing All Star this year. We doing All Star. But then again, to y'all point, we kind of run our program different than other places, so we can have adults and kids in the room at the same time. So I guess it's a little different for us and other programs. But no shade to nobody else. But nevertheless, the All Star Band aspect of it can bring so much more to the kid than the bad habits that people be creating. But a lot of that stuff comes from band directors' personal egos too, and we don't talk about that a lot. Like you don't want your kids to go learn from. somebody like Quan because he teach that wording and he a little younger than y'all. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's happening, but it's just an example. You know what I'm saying? So I think the All Star mass band scene is something that has been around, but it works if the right people doing it.
Yeah, yeah, and you said it right at the end. Quan just said it. It can work. It can with the right people. That's the thing that I absolutely agree on, and I think that that's the same thing that we've said on multiple occasions, right? And again, I also believe, and this kind of goes back to what I'm saying. I think that everybody has their own strengths, right? You can, like you said, you can walk in the room and get people excited because let's be real, you're a New Orleans guy. You're a hell of a motivator. So that's your niche. That's your thing, right? So now you got somebody who can get you motivated. All right, now who's the person that's gonna teach them? They motivated. They hype now. Now who's the person that's gonna teach them? You see what I'm saying?
Ah, yeah.
Right. But that's knowing your strengths and understanding your role. And I think the good thing about all of this is the fact that everybody has a strength and a role. And specifically, when you start talking about what's happening with them, everybody has a thought process of what they want to do, and they understand the trajectory that they want to go in. And I think that within itself is what makes it great. Because let's be real, I didn't ever think that kids didn't want to be a part of band. Okay, let me restate that. No, 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 no. I'm because I'm gonna be very honest. More chocolate folk, and I'm only talking about in the city of Houston because we have a very high Hispanic population there. So I'm not. I don't think that they don't want to be in band. I think that there's not enough for them to see and be in that will motivate them to want to keep doing it. So I think that this is a great motivator. I don't. I think from what I've learned thus far and understood thus far, mass band is a motivator. All star band, mass band. I don't know the difference in names, but what I do know is, and what I've seen is, it is a motivator. You'll have kids who come out of high school. They may be terrible on the horn. They may be halfway decent on the horn. And they get in these all star bands and these mass bands or whatever, and they learning something or they cranking up all summer, and then they come back and they're a little bit stronger than what they left. I don't think that's a bad thing. My It was always our question of, are they being educated at the same time? And so again, I think the good thing about what I know is happening there is there's education going on, and I think that's a great thing, bro. So yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what's going to happen, and the product that they let out. I think they got some great people over it. Um, I've let's be real. I've heard J Rob as far as percussion, and he's cold. And then you got Hamer and you got Simmons in the same room again. And now you got Quan in there, and he's able to
what
put.
crime from?
We already said that though.
All right.
We already said that. I've
Just
said
want to
that
read
to
it.
Quan. Let me be very. Let me be. I have to make sure I put this out there because people think that I won't say. I said this to Quan on the phone with him. I said, bro, one of the beauties and the advantages that you have is the fact that all of y'all are from the area. So that's a bond that you're gonna naturally have. It just is what it is. So I think that's a great thing. But he's able to go in there and he's able to now sprinkle some Quan dust on it and put the things in there that he's learned and the things that he's learning at the same time. And I think that's a great thing. And I think at the end of the day, I think it's whatever product they get, I think is going to be great because they're doing it all with one mindset.
I have a question, Luke. I know it's maybe a tad bit off topic, but it's definitely going to bleed into it. Are you, not, don't answer this question. Are you excited about this upcoming fall ban? Okay, let me put a panel down. We're seeing that kids are motivated by band because I don't care what nobody say. Them spring come play with me days, dance parties. Those numbers this year was crazy across the board. Miles had 700 kids in Dex had 800 kids. Dex had 1200 plus. So with the future that you see, that I've been trying to tell people, band that did, it's just a matter of how you do it. Granted, that's still like a mass band concept too. Anyway, but yeah, with that whole thing that we had in the spring. You see these band camps about to be crazy in the summer. I just seen somebody list. They dropped that. This is crazy. Are you excited for band coming up this fall?
To me, that's a twofold answer.
I don't know why he asked me not to answer.
Be, Cause you be done. You be done. Unfortunately, you be working a
She
lot. You
be
know what I'm saying.
she
So
be
I know
she be like, look,
I'm giving you a break while you got it. You know
he ain't lying.
what I'm saying.
He ain't lying. No, for me that's a twofold answer, and the reason why I say that is because am I excited? Yes, I'm excited to see what everybody's going to bring to the table. I'm excited to see the numbers grow, because as I'm doing this for LBR, if you don't know loose band report, good lord, but as I'm doing this and I'm giving these grades for these different programs, what I'm starting to notice is that numbers are dropping. Some programs, obviously, like Valley has gotten bigger, but I've noticed too, like Alcorn got a little smaller, Miles got a little smaller, and so what I'm excited to see is what's in store for these programs coming up. What new things are they going to pull out the back? What I'm not excited for is I don't want to see the same thing. That's what I'm not excited for. I don't want to see the same thing over and over again. And I don't want to hear the same songs in every book. Like, I understand there are gonna be some bangers that you gonna have. There's gonna be that one banger that's just gonna or two that you just gonna play. I get that. But I also want to see creativity and some eclectiveness in your book. If all you doing is hitting the same joints, that's not exciting to me. Um,
God, I hope not.
what do y'all think band of the year competition is coming back this year? I don't think so. I think that they're probably going to give it a rest for this year and probably try to respark it up next year. But yeah, so it's a twofold question. To answer your question, yes, I'm excited to see band again and see what people bring to the table, but I'm not excited if it's going to be the same thing.
I don't think it's gonna be the same. I mean, some things ain't gonna change with band. I don't think they. I think they should, but in a certain in that light, nah. But I'm excited, like for just like the future of it in the next like few years, and this season gonna be a real deal. Like the determining factor of like how everything play out because just looking at everybody's schedule, I really like look at people's schedules. One to know when I'm traveling at, two to see like how shit gonna go. Like you see that National Battle of Bands Day, like that's gonna be a day for band. Like you got like Jackson and Southern and PV and
And
Texas
Texas Southern,
Southern
yeah, yeah, no,
in the same.
I think the
But
lineup for
listen,
that was genius.
that's you. And then you got this musical madness in Atlanta between Norfolk and Fam the same day. That's gonna be crazy. That's a crazy ass way to start the season though. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
but see, here's my thing, and this is something that is
I think
stuck with
though,
me.
hold on. The National Battle of Bands is on Sunday this year.
Mm-hmm.
now I said,
So
well,
this
yeah,
Sunday. So we play that game against Fam on
Saturday.
Saturday.
Mm-hmm. The weekend itself is just dope.
I thought about flying out of Atlanta to
you
get,
thinking it's already?
to
My
get to
ticket about to get
Houston,
booked.
but
You thinking? Ain't nothing to think about.
Portia, you need to
Shit.
bring your butt on because we all got to be there. We all gonna be there.
I don't know. That's gonna be a lot, man. And
It
no,
ain't. That's a.
if
Atlanta have straight flights to Houston.
That's what
no,
that's right at the beginning of the year. You're gonna be well rested. You ain't
no,
even went through the
the
season yet.
way my numbers is looking,
Fair. Okay, gotcha.
You
yeah.
got a big team this year.
If they all make it,
She have a medium team. Ain't gonna be big. But
But
anyway.
but yeah, man. And this is something that's been in the back of my mind for a while. You say you say that you hear the conversation that band is dead. You don't think band is dead.
I know it's
Fair.
not. I don't even entertain it. When
See,
every time I hear it,
my question that stays in the back of my head is how long is it going to be sustainable?
I
And the
think as long as to me, bro, and I hate. I don't want. I okay. As long as programs like Jackson and Southern keep doing what they do, and I hate to just put that so vibrantly like that. As long as they keep doing what they do to motivate people don't admit that, like to motivate like the culture, because like let's say if it's like this, like I split band into like sectors. You have this side over here, you got the Norfolks and the damn ANTs, right? Like ANT the best, well they the staple where they at, then you got Norfolk right there. That Norfolk and NCAT rivalry keep everything over there alive because you got bands chasing them. You know what I'm saying? So then you got the two in the middle. I'm gonna say the Southern and the Jackson, but everybody pretty much like not so much chasing them, but you understand everywhere that they go is gonna be a damn a game because bands prepare for them. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. But all in all, when you have these programs like these bigger programs motivating the smaller programs to do good, you have a Miles College that she don't know what the hell they expect. You know what I'm saying? Like because they pretty much not a big program, but they damn sure gonna put up a fight. So all I'm saying is if the bands keep doing what they doing, what they're known for, I don't ever see it die. I don't. But one thing I do say that y'all kind of touched on in a different way. I think college programs need to start giving back to high schools more. A lot of times, high schools, colleges take, but don't give. And I always say it won't hurt no college to send a pep band to your local high school football game on a Friday night, even if it's the upperclassmen. You know what I'm saying? That one thing alone, you see how many kids won't come to your band day. So colleges need to start really like you've been a high school band director. You know how sometimes, not saying you can feel inferior to a college director. Sometimes I hear the story all the time. He's not approachable. They only come when they want my kids. That needs to change. Like colleges need to realize that these kids need to see y'all more. You know what I'm saying? Your college don't thrive without them. So I know I might have picked the ball when I said that, but a lot of times colleges take. They need to start giving more. You know what I'm saying? So that's my answer on that. You put that.
I mean, you're not necessarily wrong. I mean, I think there's a you got to find time as a college director to be able to do that, but I don't think that you're wrong. But I will say this because you kind of put it in this kind of space where you were saying if you have people like Southern and Jackson that's still going, then everything else should kind of be fine and work itself out. I kind of disagree with that though, because of the fact that again, I said this at the beginning. I think Jackson and Southern are always going to be them. They're not going to change. But when we start looking at the landscape and the history of band, you threw the Legion and A&T out there. The reason why A&T is the A&T that we know them to be is because they're different. Because the old A&T, nobody knows that old A&T looked like an old
I
sweat
think
band.
I think you missed what I was trying to say on it. I guess what I'm saying is that long as these bands keep doing what they do, it's like I think we need to have a real podcast to where sometimes we can be real. 'Cause a lot of times, what I liked about any college band that I talk to, you can ask in front any from the smallest to the big. I always keep it real with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever, let's use Nerf folks, y'all conference over there. Do you think
Ain't
people
nobody in
preparing
the
for they
conference.
okay, well, let's just say let's use them. Do you think everybody preparing for? Do you think everybody not preparing for when they play Norfolk?
I'll put it this way.
What?
So let
What?
me answer. I answer this two ways.
I'm
So
listening.
my first way of answering this question is when I was in school, yes. Now, I don't think
No,
so.
yes.
I don't think so.
Even though it may not seem like it, but that's the game. I don't know. That's the game. I would like to play this. Virginia State is not practicing for Virginia Union like they will practice for Norfolk.
Okay, but
Okay,
even when
but
go okay, go ahead. If
okay.
go ahead and finish. I'm gonna
The
write this
you
down.
know like when I don't, y'all get what I'm saying. That school, the schools that you practice, you can't not practice for them. You know what I'm saying? Like the saying go, when you play fam, your book got to change. You can't play on that rap too when you play fam. You know what I'm saying? It happens. You know what I'm saying? When people, we gotta be real about it. All I'm saying is that if programs keep doing what they do at a high level, let's put it like that. If everybody keep doing what they do at a high level, I don't see band dying. Because as much as you might not like a program, as much as everybody be calling doing cooking boring, they have a house every year. Because some kid likes something about that. So that means they might be doing something at a high level for those kids to come. I feel like you don't die. If everybody do what they do at a high level, and keep elevating their programs, and some people can't change, I don't see band dying. Don't see it
So
dying.
so here's my problem with that response. So first of all, I don't think, in my personal opinion, the lesser MEAC now prepares for Norfolk the way they used to. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that none of them do. I'm just saying I don't think it's like that. But regardless if that is the truth or not, one thing you're not going to see is Morgan is not gonna not be Morgan. Virginia State is not going to not be Virginia State. Even if it's them preparing for Norfolk State, Hampton is not going to not be Hampton. So my problem with that is when you flip it, Jackson, if somebody's preparing for Jackson, they're preparing for Jackson to sound like Jackson. They're not preparing for Jackson to go in there to be the best version of that band. They're go they're going in there to outsound to sound like them and to outdo what they do. And to me, that's where I question, is it sustainable?
Okay, Luke.
Because no, listen to what I'm saying.
I'm listening. I'm listening to what you're saying. I just don't. I won't lose my point because you said some right shit. Because we hear bands say it all the time. Yeah, say some cliche. We not practicing to beat them. We practicing to be the best us that we could be. That'd be some of the most BS every time I hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop lying. You know what I'm saying? You are practicing to be better than this band this week, no matter who the opponent is. So that's why I just keep it safe and say the bands keep doing what they do on the high level. I don't see band dying because we oftentimes see the programs that when I see ex kids what school they be going to, they be telling me some schools. My next question be honest, like, what made you choose that? Besides, don't tell me a major about the program. You know what I'm saying? I like this. I'm starting to get some answers that like kids like in schools for different reasons. It ain't about you being the biggest no more. It ain't about you being the loudest. It's about sometimes what that band has to offer. And I tell a lot of small band directors too. Don't be scared to come offer some of these kids because you never know who you might get. You never know who you might get. So if every band do what they're doing on a high level, I don't see band. I don't.
But there's some things that you're saying that's not wrong. I absolutely agree that smaller bands should go and recruit some of those kids. I'm not even going to disagree on the fact that some of those kids do want to go to smaller programs. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, though, when you compete, when you're going against some of these programs, are you going out there with your best product? Or are you here's the easiest way for me to put it. If the Legion plays Southern, the Legion's going to be out there to be the best Legion they can be. They're not going to try to go out there and out sound Southern, out loud Southern. They are going to be the best Legion they can be.
And
However,
I take that from a program like Norfolk. I would because that's a program that can say that and you honestly believe it. But at the end of the day, because the Southern can say the same thing. But you know what's gonna happen when them clips hit the tube or when the tweets go to tweeting? Who had the better band? Who had the better band that
that's
day?
not true.
So when Norfolk did the best that did the
That's not
best of
true.
them they could do, and Southern did the best of them that they could do. At the end of the day, both of them doing it at a high level, so the kids gonna be interested in both programs. That's all I'm saying. But
But see, you said two totally different things. You said the kids are going to say look at who has the
I
best
ain't say the
program.
kids.
I'm sorry. So we'll say the last thing that you said.
I say once the tweets go to tweeting, and once
No,
the
the last thing
clips
you said.
go
I heard all that.
the clips go on YouTube, if both bands doing what they do at a high level, the kids are gonna like both programs, whatever program they think is better. Even though somebody gonna pick a winner or loser. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I guess all I'm saying is back to the is bang gonna die? Like can it sustain? I'm saying if programs keep doing what they're doing at high levels and keep doing being the best version of them, you know what I'm saying? I don't see it dying. Man, it's exciting, man. Even though sometimes Luke, you and I gotta give you that. You stand firm on saying you want to see a change and you want to see some new shit happen. You always say I got to give you that. But even with this shit that's still happening, I don't see it. I don't see it dying. Even without the change, van change it just might not change in the way that y'all like it. That y'all want it to change. Just change.
Listen, I and Cause I know. I don't know, Portia. You got some stuff in this, cause
I
there was
want
something I was
to
gonna
what you
say,
got to say.
but I guess you excommunicated Portia from this conversation, so she just like, I'm gonna
No,
be
no, I
quiet.
was talking about the is she excited to see band come back? I mean, speaking of Portia, I was on a podcast about auxiliary. It's called I'm gonna send it to you, Portia. They talk about auxiliary, like the state of the auxiliary, and one thing that they was talking about was twirlers, right? Like baton twirler, and they were saying why is the art of baton twirling going? And one of my answers was just thinking about it. I think it's leaving because the field shows ain't as important no more. You know what I'm saying, band? Because when do twirlers get their time to shine?
So wait a minute, wait. So the field shows aren't important anymore, but band's not gonna die.
No, band's not gonna die. You know why? Because
They gonna live
I
off them stands.
They not
say
gonna. You
say
know
it
why?
again,
You know
Portia.
why they're
Hey,
not gonna
hey,
live off them
say
They
it
gonna
one
stands?
more
be
You
they
time.
know
gonna
why?
be
You know
maybe
why?
marching
See,
bands. Marching
this is.
bands gonna die because they're gonna be
Say it
stand
one more
people.
But
time.
this is.
That
But
ain't
that was what I was gonna say. How are you gonna
okay.
live off the stands when they got DJs coming to games? So
That's not in
how
the
is this
fifth
gonna
quarter
be
though.
sustainable?
That's not in the fifth quarter though. And listen.
So
They have
so
stuff
now
like
so then it's gonna be no DJs during the game. The bands march out for the fifth quarter, and then that's when the band is important again.
Quan, you know what I laugh at you, Luke, every time I see your band report? Because I remember you used to come for the cameraman all the time. You used to be like, y'all the reason why, yada, yada, yada. But Luke wouldn't have a band report if you ain't had nothing to watch to update these bands. And when you're watching bands, right now, Luke, you grade everything. And when people watch bands, okay, Norfolk and let's say Norfolk and Southern play a game. I want to see it one day. Norfolk and Southern play a game. What you think people gonna say? Who won the halftime or who won the zero in the fifth?
But that's the problem.
I
People are
don't
gonna
think it's a
say,
problem.
listen, no, listen. I'm gonna answer the question, but I'm also starting with that's the problem. People are gonna talk about who won the zero and the fifth. The
That's
problem,
important.
but listen, no. Listen, the problem with that is the Legion is going to field show you first,
Okay.
right? And that's not to say that they're going to be trash in the stands. I'm not saying that, but the
It's gonna
Legion
be
is
immaculate. It's gonna be
so the
immaculate.
Legion is going to field show you first. So
Mm-hmm.
my thing is, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier that I was gonna say. At the end of the day, the people in the comments are gonna talk about who cranked the loudest. They're gonna say Norfolk, man, they sound
Sound great.
good.
Sound
They
damn
sound
good.
they sound good. But
Mm-hmm.
man, Southern was bringing it. And that is
Mm-hmm.
going to be the basis on what people judging on whether it's good or not, which
It,
is not sustainable.
no, it's not. Listen. Okay,
That's
watch this.
not sustainable.
One
It's
question.
not.
Like I had
It's
to tell a
not
band director.
sustainable.
Like I had to tell a band
Will it
director.
work now? Sure. It's going to work
It's
now
work.
because it's still a hot thing.
Listen,
But
I'm
when
not
you
saying get
hear
rid
it
of field show.
over and over and over again in the next 20 years,
It's
if
still
that if
listen.
that bruh, no.
Listen, look, I can send you something
No
right now.
variety,
Hey,
bro.
hold on. I can send you something right now that fact checks my opinion. And listen, I look at band different, bro. Like I don't like talking about because like one, I'm in the field. I'm in the streets. I'm in the streets with kids. I'm in the streets with everybody. Like I see it from the middle schools right now. You know what Roblox is? I'm pretty sure y'all kids play
Yeah, the
Roblox, huh?
game.
The game. Do you know these kids are making fifth quarter Roblox boards and inviting each other to go play? Southern and Jackson got a listen. You type on YouTube right now, Roblox HBCU. They got big bands. Southern University when created them. We gonna play on this board. They've been inviting me to. I didn't know what the hell Roblox was. I had to go get a Roblox up and see what was going on. Listen, all I'm saying is that I appreciate the field show. I like the field show aspect of stuff. I appreciate a good ass field show. But if we gonna say field show versus the stands, and you saying it's gonna die, it's not gonna be sustainable because field shows is not a thing. I mean, it's not being talked about. I'm gonna strongly disagree. When y'all invite these bands to y'all band days, y'all ain't teach them no damn field show. Don't tell me you only got a day. I don't hear it. You can teach them something. You teach them something. You can put them in a formation. You can teach them something. He cranking songs in the stands, or if it's on the field. I don't know, Luke. I just think band ain't gonna die if the shit stay interesting. If the way
Are you talking
band
about are
going,
you talking about the day in Sparta? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about stuff like Dennis Sparta, because not Dennis Sparta like Crank Day, like Day with the Boom, all those things are stand. We coming to play. We ain't coming to learn no damn Joined at band camp, yes.
I mean, but you're not gonna do that in a day. But when we did the spring joint, we
Mm-hmm.
used to do a field show. Now it wasn't like a full field show. You weren't learning the multiple maneuvers that we were doing. No, but when you came to do the spring training, what was the name of that thing? Portia, you just leave me
High
out.
school band camp.
Yes, the spring high school band camp. We used to put them on the field, and we used to do a field show.
And that's in the summertime.
No, it was in the spring. It was
It was in the
literally
spring.
in the
It used to
spring.
how
be
long
during
was it?
spring break. It was a
Yeah,
week,
Okay.
and they would come and stay on campus, and it was a whole thing.
and we
Well, y'all
did
need
a
to bring it
field
back.
show.
Y'all need a summer
But you
camp
can't
too,
do that
'cause
in a day.
of course. But at the same time, bro, all I'm saying is that Luke, I just think that's one of them things that I ain't saying you from the old school because like, you really not that old. You just have an old soul to me. But you gotta just understand that's a change. That's a part of change. As much as you want to see change,
And
I hear
you're
you.
saying that, Justin, but here we still prioritize that field show.
I
You can
know.
say
I know.
whatever you want to about them stands. We gonna drill your ass under that table.
I'm not saying
But
y'all
you,
don't. I don't think you missing what I'm saying. All I'm saying is
I
that
think you
on
wrong
this
about
on
that.
this on this topic about when Luke said he basically said, correct me if I'm wrong, you said it's not gonna be sustainable because the fish are not important. That's what I took from it. Because it's not focused on. I'ma say no, I think band what's going on with band right now. Yes, we could find a way to make field shows more important and stuff, but because you gotta learn, you gotta do it anyway. You gotta do field shows. But what's being talked about more on Friday, who won this, that, and the third, is the stand. Look at band of the year. Everybody had decent field shows out there. What everybody was complaining about, they didn't have.
I
They
wasn't complaining about the no fifth. I was
which is
complaining because don't ain't nobody seen. I still ain't seen no scores for my squad. I'm getting ready to have a whole new set of people. Still ain't seen no scores from last year, but they
from band
judged
of the
us.
year. Y'all didn't participate.
No, they did scoring all the way up until they picked who the winners were.
Oh
That's how they
yeah,
did it. I
yeah.
haven't seen a single score sheet. So when the auxiliary from Norfolk State was judged, what did that look like? Does a school like ours that has color guard, male and female, and dancers compared to a squad that has just a school that just has dancers? I mean, like, what I want to see my score sheets.
I think that like if I had to suggest this whole band needed to come back, they because I like I said I'm a man of everybody and not just the big bands. You know what I'm saying? I can strongly say that. Competitions like that band of the year, a school like Virginia Union probably won't ever. I ain't gonna say ever stand a chance of making it because one, like they're not really focused on every year. I mean every week, and you have to create a way for it to be fed to those kind of programs. Let's say for instance, if we say early in the year on week 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Every band needs to, or 1, 3, 5, 7, or whatever we could do every other week, every third week of the whatever. That's the week that your band has to drop a video of y'all field shows that we can judge. When you got bands like Jackson and damn Incat that have media teams, they can post a field show every week. You know what I'm saying? You're not about to tell me that you watched
I
all these.
also don't think you should be using the school's media
Why not?
because you can adjust that shit.
Okay, yeah. So the ESPN got the money to send people out there if they really want to. Or you can have a one shot, like put it at the top, one wide shot of what's going on, just a traditional shot that schools can turn in. It could be a cell phone, 1080p, however you want to do it. Clip of yeah, damn, because some of these shows they put on, I put on good shows, so I know what other people doing. Yeah, but if you need to find a way that every school can have a shot at this and not just pick fans who you know gonna bring people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. We can talk to whoever, but I agree, Portia. It needs to be a way that every HBCU band has a fair shot at getting picked for that band of the year. And then another thing too, where they rub people wrong in it, because I been talking to some people, they didn't like how it's for the Celebration Bowl, right? Y'all piggyback of the Celebration Bowl, which the Celebration Bowl is between the winner of the SWAC Championship and the MEAC Championship, and y'all pick NCAT, who has no part in none of the conference. I know that HBCU, but when you look at it like that, I understand. that like it's kind of was unfair to somebody from a MEAC school of a conference and a SWAC school of the conference. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, that's another thing that goes into I think NCAT and Tennessee State need to get out the conference and come back to a black conference. I know they make a lot of money, but that's another argument for that. I didn't look at it, but I see how some people would say. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. But there's a lot that could change. But I see it coming back. I think it's gonna come back, but do I think people gonna buy into it like they did, which nobody really went last year? I don't think. I don't know. I can't say.
Well, before I get you out of here, brother, I will say this. I think that you have a bad conception about or misconception about me. I am not afraid of change. I think that change is great.
I ain't say he's
Um,
afraid of change, Luke. I just
no,
say you
I'm
old
just
school.
saying. I'm saying in the sense that the idea of the focus of not on the field show versus the stands, that's fine. If that's what it is, that's cool. But my thing is, and like I always say, what are you going to do different? That's what I'm always asking. What new are you bringing to the table? And again, that's where my thought process comes from about the non stability is if there isn't anything being added or being changed or being pushed or put into a different light or someone coming up with a new idea and this is the new norm, how long is it going to last? That's all I'm saying. Am I
Good
saying
question.
it's
What's
it's
what's one thing?
terrible? No.
What's one thing of this change that you would like to see? This change that you talk about.
I would actually like to see more bands develop their own identity from a sound perspective.
Drops, Mike. I mean, okay. So like how Grambling gonna keep their style with the bass drum and the dance with the horns, and how I guess FAMU is always gonna be FAMU, Bethune always gonna be Bethune. But then I guess when people say some years that can sound like Southern, you can kind of agree with that, or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, and my thing is perfect what you're doing. The more that I'm doing this thing with these different programs, the more that I'm seeing that there are some programs that are working on trying to be different, but it's not good. And it's not, to me, I don't think it's to the fault of the directors. A lot of times I think it's more or less a situation where because the conversation is not about them cranking up, they don't get the level of student that they would like to have to be able to fill out some of those parts or just some of the talent level. And so it puts them in a position where they kind of have to arrange like other schools to make themselves sound fuller when that's not necessarily their identity. So that's my thing. Whatever you sound like, perfect that. Don't reach to sound like somebody else just to say you're in that, just to say you're competing.
A lot of times you said something, but that hit. But a lot of times, what a lot of programs don't realize, a lot of programs are based off tradition and they do traditional stuff. A lot of times the traditions be boring. They can play into sound. A lot of that sound that you're trying to perfect, it might not be it. So you try to shoot for what's working and what's hot at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody did change. Your Legion ain't the Legion now. You know what I'm saying? Every Southern ain't the Southern how it was. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you probably like about it that just you probably wish I'll get back to. But bands change over time. So like I guess how I want to say this. You want them to develop their own sound, but I don't know how easy. I don't know if that's an easy thing or a hard thing. That's something that you might have to have with some directors. Get some college directors on here and ask them that question.
Hey, I'm all for it. Absolutely. I'm all for it. I'm gonna
Chuck,
get
first up, get right ass on this. that's
I'm
he
gonna
gonna take.
finish giving these grades though, and then we'll get down to
I,
that.
I think you're pretty fair though. On your grades, I definitely think you're pretty fair. I like how you going in alphabetical order. Can't wait till you get to one school because this shit gonna be funny as hell.
Oh, I
But
know. I know.
but yeah, I'm interested in seeing them, and I'm also gonna be interested in seeing them during the season. You know what I'm saying? When some of this stuff pop off. But yeah, I might have bought this ticket so I can see portion of them on that Saturday. Yeah, I ain't know y'all. I ain't know that was like that. I don't know how I missed that, but I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, there you go.
That game is Saturday, and then the battle is that Sunday.
Sunday. Yep. So Enjoy that trip that you're gonna take, Portia, because I know you're gonna be there Saturday
I
and
don't.
Sunday.
I don't know.
I'm
I don't
I'm
know.
I'm saying it now. I'm calling
You
it
going,
now.
Luke?
Huh?
You
To
going
the Norfolk joint?
to the National Battle Band?
Yeah. I'm going there. I'm going there.
All right.
Yes. I ain't going to the Norfolk joint. I'm gonna let Portia tell me about it when she get there on Sunday. All right. Appreciate you, bro.
All
As
right.
always, man. Keep it up. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Gotcha. All right, man. I'll holler at y'all later, man.
All right,
All right. All right, get on.
man. It's the same one. It ain't changed. Oh man, this has been a great conversation, man. I know I was about to say Quan was kind of in and out. In all fairness, he was doing what he had to do. I know he was messing with his bad iPhone that wasn't working for him, but you know that's what they do. Those daggone Apple products. Well, I ain't gonna say Apple products. Those daggone iPhones. So you know, hey, but it is what it is. Android never did me wrong. But with that being said, Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Anna was right. I'm in it. I'm working. I'm recruiting. I'm training. I'm doing, but I ain't ready.
You ain't ready for the season?
Nope.
You ain't ready for your
To
26
no, it
according to
ain't
Bud?
gonna never be 20. I listen. Not while I'm coaching. I was on a squad of 20. I don't want that, but they would love that. But I don't.
The moment you say that, that gonna be the moment that you get blessed with it.
That's gonna be the moment. I already picked my exit date.
Wow, you ain't announcing the date, but you are announcing that it's coming. All right, I guess. Well, I will definitely say this. First things first, I do want to go ahead and restate what I said, which is on next week, LBR, I'm going to be doing 2 bands on next week. I have University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, and then after that, I'm going to get to I think it's Benedict. If there's not enough footage that I can find for Benedict or pull from Benedict, then the next one after that will be Bethune-Cookman. So if you don't see a Benedict one, that means I'm doing Bethune. So you'll have 2 shows for that. Crystal will be on her show this Friday. So be prepared for that as well. At least that's what I know, and we're going to put it out there. Also, final thoughts, hit the center of the pitch, listen across the section, and crank that out. Malik. I mean, technically, in a lot of bands that I've been listening to, that's absolutely true. But no, man. I am very glad of the experience that Quan is getting, and I'm actually excited to be able to see what they're going to be pulling off. A lot more all-star and mass bands are jumping out of the woodworks all of a sudden. I don't know. I think there's a North Carolina mass band right now. There's some other ones that I saw. I think the Golden Triangle mass band is back. So again, I can't wait to see what everybody's bringing to the table. I'm excited to see that. But again, across the board, man, I will definitely say or question, is this thing sustainable? I will also look at the fact of when we start comparing apples to apples, at the end of the day, my question is always going to be, is it resources or is it good teaching? And I don't know. That's probably going to be one that's going to be up in the air for a long, long time. But outside of that, man, this has been super dope. This has been a great episode. I will say we'll see you in 2 weeks, but this one ended up being 3 weeks. So I'll say it, and then if anything changes, I'll let you know. So we will see you all in 2 weeks.